just arrived in Tainan, which is about an hour and 40 minutes from Taipei on the high-speed rail. And then from there, you take another train and a bus to get into Tainan City. And it's the historic capital. Seems like it changed hands many times over the last 300 years or so. And it's also, people say, the food capital of Taiwan, or at least a really great city to enjoy some food. So here we are, really excited, on our way to hopefully find some delicious things. I think beef noodle soup must be first. So I took a detour already. There's a place that said almond tea or almond milk or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but we're gonna give it a try. Wow, definitely has a flavor of almonds, but they don't look like your standard almonds. They look more like apricot kernels. Have to do some research afterwards and see what it is. It's sort of like a less viscous soy milk. Has a lot of marzipan characteristics. I got the cold one. Hot is definitely an option too. I'm here at Tang, which is a beef soup restaurant, and what's pretty interesting is they take the raw beef and cover it with the broth, and as it sort of sits in here, it cooks a little bit like pho. But the other interesting thing is the color of the broth changes from the myosin, which is sort of what people perceive as blood from the meat, but the reality is it's actually just a part of the meat. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Super rich, deep flavor, but pretty clean, not too fatty at all. Now I'm standing across the street from where I was, so I can give you a little bit more information. So here's the restaurant over here, and typically I hear that the reviews say there's usually a very long line, and I thought it was delicious. I didn't think it was sort of like a mind-blowing soup, but at the same time it had a really clean beef flavor that I think would be really difficult to replicate. It's very interesting how it's presented, how it's served. Again, super simple, very delicious, but I don't know if it's worth waiting in line for. Okay, now we're here at Bao An La, and I got sort of a pork over rice situation. It's sort of like a braised pork dish with a bit of pork floss and cabbage and some peanuts on it as well. Sorry, not cabbage, cucumbers. Let's dig in and see how it is. It's delicious. It's kind of sweet. The pork floss and the sauce that the pork is braising in imparts a really delicious sort of sweet flavor, but it's like a brown sugar or molasses. The cucumber offers freshness for 40 Taiwanese dollars, which is a little bit more than $1. I mean, you can't really go wrong. Now we've arrived at the Tainan Garden Night Market. It's like 5:45 in the morning. I spent the night at a night market, and I'm still here in Tainan. I'm now walking about 40 minutes to go to a wet market. And one of the things that's pretty famous at this wet market is that there's a noodle shop that serves what they call dumpster noodles. And I think the story goes they originally used to make noodles with whatever you'd bring them from the wet market and make some kind of soup with it. Now, I'm not sure if that's still the case, but they're still serving up some delicious noodles. Really excited to go ahead and try it and stop along the way at some other spots. So just walking and found what looks to be sort of like a little dumpling shop. I think they sell some kind of pancakes too. Couldn't resist, so we'll have to stop and try it out. Got my plate of dumplings here. I went up and picked them myself. They look really crispy, but they're not folded as well as sort of gyoza or traditional dumplings that I'm used to. They're kind of open on both sides here. Really juicy. Has some sort of pork and cabbage filling. Wow, I don't think I got enough. This is the best thing I've had so far while in Taiwan. Those dumplings were really great. I know it doesn't sound like anything, that special, but they were really juicy, and it's interesting because the filling wasn't super well contained within the dumpling. Like the wrapper wasn't totally sealed or closed, but I think that just means the batter, the filling must have been really well emulsified. And they had a very savory sort of characteristic that, I think it was just really well seasoned, but they were really delicious. Just arrived at the Yamu Lao market. We're in search of our dumpster noodles here. It's sort of just opening up, but I'll take you on a brief tour of what it looks like. The famous dumpster noodle soup. Looks like some fried onions and some noodles and some greens in here as well. Let's try the broth. Soup is awesome. It has sort of this really rich onion characteristic. Again, super clean. Once you add the chili oil, everything gets really exciting and delicious. The noodles are really bouncy, perfectly cooked. The greens are fresh and delicious. This place is awesome. Hey. Wow. That was awesome. Sort of would describe it more of like an onion soup than a pork soup. Had a tremendous amount of flavor packed in there, a lot of finesse. It was really impressive. Oily, but not greasy. Really great textures. And then once you add the white pepper and the chili oil and a little bit of vinegar, really makes a huge difference. What's the only logical thing to wash down that delicious soup with? Asparagus juice. Let's give it a try here in 7-Eleven. See what happens. It sort of smells like corn. Wow. Very sweet. Doesn't taste like asparagus at all. It sort of tastes like if you boiled peas and you added a bunch of water to the liquid at the end of it, whatever was left over, and mixed in some corn, like a can of creamed corn. You know, it's not bad. It's pretty interesting. So I just bought these frozen sweet potatoes. It was from this guy who was selling sweet potatoes and some tea, and it looks like he really cared about where the products were coming from, but I didn't have enough money. So I had to go to 7-Eleven, break a larger bill, and then come back. I don't really know if you're supposed to consume these from frozen, but I sort of think you are. I feel like I've heard that somewhere. These were from some region in Taiwan that's known for the sweet potatoes. You can see that they've been roasted and then frozen. Wow. Tastes like Japanese sweet potatoes that I'm used to, but it's much smaller. And it sort of tastes like a fried plantain in a weird way. It's really delicious. Definitely a strong sweetness, but not overwhelming. It's not like there's an acidity to it to sort of break the sweetness, but there's something about it that doesn't make it too cloying or overbearing. So this is pretty interesting. I'm getting coffee made in a Siphon brewer. They have a whole list of beans that it looks like they roast here themselves. Here's the roasting equipment. So they take the green beans from various different regions, and they had Colombia, Costa Rica, and a bunch of different African coffees as well. So she's gonna grind the coffee and then heat the bottom of the Siphon brewer and place the ground beans on top of it. And from there, it's sort of, the vacuum is created and then passed through the bed of coffee. And as a result, the bottom part of the Siphon brewer has the finished clean cup in it. So there's not sort of a traditional paper filter. This is using sort of the grinds themselves in order to do the filtration process. You can see here now she's grinding the coffee. Placing the coffee into the top of the Siphon brewer. And now once the water's boiling, it gets pulled through suction up through the top part so the beans can get saturated and actually begin the extraction process. And then once all the water is sucked up, it'll then be pulled back down through the base of it in a totally clean cup. You can see she's cooling down the bulb, which will result in the coffee being pulled through in a quicker way. And again, now that it's being pulled through that glass filter, which you can see kind of in the middle here, comes out the other end, and you can see the grinds in the top. So while I was eating my last meal, some guy came and sat next to me. Turns out he works in venture capital in Taipei, but he's from Tainan, so he told me that I had to come try a dessert spot that's only made during December. So I came over and I tried it, and it's really good. It's very similar to some things I've had back at sort of bakeries in Chinatown in New York. I think it's a flour-based, and they're sort of crunchy. One is definitely sweet and has sesame seeds on it. The other one, I think, is pretty savory, and it kind of tastes like garlic a little bit. I thought I was just biting into some of the previous meal, but I genuinely think one of them might have some garlic in it, or at least the fryer oil did previously. There's sort of a combination of like a breadstick and a pretzel. They have this like hollow core. Again, this one has like a caramel sticky toffee on the outside with some black and white sesame seeds. Really good, fun little dessert, and each bag was 60, so like $2 US. Now in Taipei and going to find some radish cakes. One of my favorite foods. And I've heard this version is pretty good. Let's go see what it's all about. Turnip cake is light and fluffy on the inside, but crispy on the outside. It has sort of like a sweet chili sauce on top of it. But it's very light and delicate. Sort of tastes almost like tofu. And let's go ahead and try these noodles. Don't expect anything too crazy because there's not really much of a sauce, but maybe I need to mix it a bit better. Another really oniony, garlicky, wheat noodles. Let's give the pork topping a try. Really strong onion flavor. There's no sort of gaminess to the pork at all. This is really good. And it was 115 Taiwanese dollars. Which is like 350 USD or something like that. Really awesome snack. All right, here's my vegetarian vegetable, which seems like mostly cabbage, some kind of green onion, and some corn inside of an egg omelet. And this is the original flavor, which is white pepper and seaweed. I also got some of the hot sauce, but look how awesome this looks. Let's try it without the pepper first. Without the red pepper. Closest thing I can describe it to is sort of like a quiche. Very salty, super light. Really good. The like caramelized top. Almost tastes like a potato pancake or something like that. This is really delicious, and it was 90 Taiwanese dollars. It's almost just about $3 US. This is awesome. So the Taiwanese pepper biscuits, you can see them being made over here. Then they get cooked in the oven. Sort of like a tandoori. You know, it's pretty funny. The dense sort of chewy texture and the way that the oven toasts the sesame seeds really reminds me of Paulie G's Slice Shop, which is a pizza place in Brooklyn that has sesame seeds underneath it. Or like a New York City bagel. The filling obviously doesn't taste anything like that, but the outside has a really interesting sort of laminated croissant-like texture, but way denser. Very chewy. Really great. All right, here we go. Another version of sort of this tofu pudding. This time it has peanuts in it, and this is the cold version. From what I understand, there's different coagulants you can use to make tofu. This one is more yogurt-like. Go ahead and try it. Wow, the texture is sort of like Greek yogurt. It's thick and creamy and rich. And the soup is lightly seasoned. The peanuts are sort of fall apart, and it's really delicious. Here's the Scallion Pancake. Waited about 20 minutes for it. I think probably the most interesting thing was that there is a hydraulic press being used to flatten them out instead of a rolling pin. I've never seen that before, and it was powered by just like a normal air compressor. Let's give it a try. Very crispy. Not so many identifiable layers. Not greasy at all. Normally these are more like pan fried. At least I found here. This one's sort of toasted almost. Light scallion flavor. Really good. I also got one with egg inside, so we'll give that a try too. I would definitely wait in line for this place. Also, the area is cool to come check out as well. Here at Family Mart, about to get potato. Out here with my sweet potato from 7-Eleven, from Family Mart. They weigh it. So this one was 30 Taiwanese dollars, which is just below 1 USD. Let's see if I can get it out of the bag. I actually got a purple sweet potato this time. So it's been slow roasted in an oven for a long time at a low temperature. Similar flavor to sort of the regular orange-ish, light orange sweet potatoes that you get here. This one's less sticky. Has a rich flavor, and the color is definitely super cool. So, on my way to Costco, which is perfect rainy day, or really any day activity, and one of the bus stops was at a fresh vegetable and fruit and fish market, so I, of course, had to get off early and check it out. Wow, it's kind of unbelievable. I mean, I've been to hundreds, maybe thousands of markets. I've never seen anything with meat and poultry this clean and fresh looking. I'm blown away. It's really incredible and very impressive. The care and attention to detail and precision. I've never seen anything like this. Okay, definitely found the fruit and vegetable part of the market. Again, so clean and organized and orderly. It's awesome. Obviously, super seasonally dependent. A ton of persimmons and citrus fruit. So far, feels like a regular Costco with a lot more mopeds. All right, well, one of the more fun samples is Japanese whiskey.
Japanese whiskey.
谢谢.
It's a single grain special. Will you try?
No, it's okay. Thank you. Okay. 谢谢. Very smooth.
And in Costco, it's cheaper.
Thank you. 谢谢.
You're welcome.
all kinds of pastries. These look like little donut holes of some kind. And of course the Costco croissants. Look at this. Aubryon, Latour. Do they have the famous birthday cake? Let's see. They do, and it's a much more manageable size. That's funny. And it's $399. So definitely still affordable. This is so fun. It's sort of like a meal kit, but it's sauerkraut fish with all the different parts and components. Some salads. Seafood fried rice. Of course, the Costco chicken, which is... they have a chicken thigh and leg, 4-count. And also, do they have the regular chickens? I don't... yes, they do. Huh. Wow, sushi, Hokkaido milk, ice cream, pork rice, of course the hot dog. So I got the sushi, the ice cream, I got the pork rice, and soup, and excited to try it. They're incredibly nice here and very helpful. First, try the ice cream before it melts. Wow. It tastes nothing like the ice cream from the States. Much creamier, richer, and it definitely tastes less sweet. They got the matcha and Hokkaido milk flavor. Try a bite of sushi. This one looks like a crab. Not bad. Tastes better than the sushi from home, that's for sure. I have a salmon here. And this sushi plate was $129, so like $4. Definitely a good value. And lastly, the pork rice. You can see the pieces of pork in here. And I'm just realizing these are actually little branded Costco cups. Let's give this a try. Wow. This is definitely way better than any Costco food I've ever had before. I'm really not exaggerating. I wasn't expecting to eat so much of this, but everything is really good. This dumpling place behind me was really great. Super simple dumplings, a lot of filling, really great leek flavor as well. Would definitely recommend coming here, and I think I might come back. I tried the pork, but the shrimp looked great as well. To be honest, this is the restaurant I've been looking for. It's a random hole in the wall, but there's just a wok chef and a bunch of young kids working. And there's some real wok hay, sort of a smokiness to the fried rice. It's delicious, it's cheap, it's hectic, but it's exactly what I want it to be. Wow, what a fun experience. That's by far the best meal that I've had since being here, which sounds totally ridiculous, but the atmosphere, the care, the attention, the wok, when you see those flames coming up the sides of the wok, and the really high temperature, encourages things to combust really quickly, and when they burn, they smoke, and when they smoke, they impart that sort of smoky flavoring characteristic to fried rice that is a better seasoning than anything. But together with salt and MSG, a little bit of soy sauce, and some garlic, it's an unbeatable dish. That was awesome. Highly recommend going there. Don't be put off by the aesthetic of the place. Definitely not a nice restaurant, but what it lacks in looks, it makes up for in everything else. To the National Palace Museum and stopped by a market that I saw on a side street, and there was a long line for this stuffed thing which has some sort of noodles, some tofu, and some greens. I feel like I'm learning that the simpler things are what I prefer the most. This is really some fried dough with a bunch of vegetables and some kind of noodles, and definitely a lot of garlic in it. But wow, it's so good. The vegetables are sort of lightly steamed inside of it. The dough is crispy but not oily. This was just about $1 US. There was a long line. It was pretty funny standing there with all the Taiwanese grandmothers. But here we are, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this place on a map, but it was really good.